Alright lads, okay, so we're doing a quick Seven Knights ReBIRTH PvP tier list, right? This one's going to be messy because the meta's constantly shifting. And honestly, half of you are running units that shouldn't even be in the arena. But whatever, I'm going to go through the heroes just, as they come here in my list. And yeah, let's start first with Cult, yeah? And Cult's crazy underrated right now. Camouflage and SPD scaling damage make her a nightmare in mirror matches. So she's this mix of DPS and CC that catches people off guard. And her passive buff to affect hit rate, yeah? That's what lets your whole team, actually land those debuffs. So she's sneaky and she belongs in that annoying S tier PvP bunch that sort of wins rounds before you even realise what happened. Next, Lucy. And I don't know, people sleep on Lucy, but she's actually clutch as a support. She's not busted like Lena, but in Guild Wars she saves runs with her debuff removal and poison immunity. If you're running a tank heavy comp, she's just quietly doing her job in the background. I call her solid A tier, not flashy but stabilising. And then there's Tio. God, Tio is just illegal. Cooldown resets, AoE burst, and that crit window that just doesn't end. He pierces damage immunity, so it's good luck keeping your tanks alive. TO comps are literally what make people uninstall after a bad arena streak. S tier, no question. Build him or you're trolling. Ruri next, kind of mid, honestly. She's good for magic type pushes and has some self-heal, but in PvP she just doesn't have the punch to compete with TO or Yen He setups. A tier maybe, but only if you're stubborn. Speaking of annoying, Fi. Fi's the reason some people throw their phones. She's support and DPS rolled into one. She's got burn, buff removal, percent HP damage, and that disgusting execute mechanic. And yeah, her AoE execution, when she's fully transcended, that's meta defining. S tier, easily. Builder or you're torturing. Now, weirdly enough, Miho. I used to rate her lower, but she's decent for hybrid comps. Lifestream, buff control, decent sustain. Nothing game breaking, but she fills awkward slots really well. She's that don't regret building her bird, don't brag about it either kind of unit. B tier, solid middle ground. Alright, Rudy, let's talk the man, the myth, the wall. He's basically the most reliable tank in PvP. Damage share, team-wide CC immunity, defensive buffs. He makes your team unkillable if you build him right. I've seen Rudy comps outlast full DPS setups just by sheer attrition. There's no debate, he's S tier, and he's not going anywhere. Okay, Ace next. He's flexible, I guess, more of a role player, great defense shredder and helps physical teams thrive. Not as impactful as Kagura or Lena, but you still in the right comp. Solid A tier. Now Biscuit, yeah. So, she's kind of like that PV darling that falls apart in PvP. Her butter breed for boss fights, but here, she's kind of vibes until she dies. You can use it early if you're desperate, but let's be real, she's C tier for arena. And next is Vanessa, and she has massive AoE, good debuffs, and her petrify chance, actually solid. She doesn't even need that much investment to pop off. She's basically the reliable magical nuke in mid-tier arena brackets. Yes, another S tier easily. Nukes is next, and guys, I like him for death teams, that Rosie Chris synergy. He's tanky, applies taunt and accelerates death procs, which is really fun to watch if you enjoy chaos. Not super generalist, but that combo potential puts him in low S tier or high A tier depending on your comp. Yuri, yeah, I can't skip her. Yuri's literally anti-revive royalty. If you see anyone using immortality cheese, she just deletes that from the match. Plus, she chunks percent HP damage with follow-ups, which is disgusting. If you don't have her, you're missing out on half the meta counters. S tier, for sure. And then there's Klahan, okay, so he is mainly known for farming rubies, right? But his AoE actually hits pretty hard in arena, especially against squishy setups. He's not consistent now, you kind of feast or salmon. I've given him a comfy A tier, yeah. Daisy, poor Daisy. I mean, she tries. Her petrifying immunity can occasionally cut around, but she's more like a support for magic comps that's better off in PvE. Not great for arena. C tier. Sorry, Daisy. But Lena, though, one of the most balanced heroes in the game. Heals, buffs, debuffs, she's like a toolkit in one slot. Any comp becomes 10 times more reliable with her around. She's not broken, but she's essential. S tier, no question. Then there's Spike, she's kind of funny, you either love him or hate him. The freeze is nice, his percent HP damage is nice, but his base stats don't scale as high as nearer units. A tier maybe, just not meta right now. Oh, Mercurial, I love this one. She's the perfect glue for magic rosters. Debuffs healing, throws barriers, stuns enemies, just everything you need for a sustain heavy magic comp. One of those underrated but crucial picks. Yeah, solid S tier. Pascal, a single target specialist. He's good for nuking tanks or picking off key targets, but Arena's too messy for that. Like, he's fine, just doesn't fit the current meta. B tier, quick mention. Then Rosie, easily one of the best supports overall. She revives, applies death, and becomes unkillable at low HP. In Guild Wars, she's just the worst nightmare to face. She defies sustain meets execution. Easily S tier. Karma, I should mention, this one's interesting. Dual purpose support and DPS. Gives both defense and offense boost, even heals. Like in PvP, he just does everything well enough to fit anywhere. S tier again. Then you've got Elaine, who kind of sits in the middle of it all. She's the buff engine of the PDPS teams, not the flashiest, but a consistent pick when you're not sure what to run. A tier. Then we have GP, so look, she's fine early game, like a mini Shane, but PvP, she's just food for TO. C tier. Then Kagura though, that's Petrify, Healing Reduction, PDMG and Crit Boosts. She's an S tier pick when you build it right. She's the one that lets hybrid comms actually function because she's half support, half CC. If you're magic leaning, she's basically mandatory. And Rin, she's terrifying. Confusion plus AoE magic bust. She's one of those picks that just messes up the enemy rotation entirely. You'll lease to her once and never forget it. Solid S tier. Then like Rachel, Burns, D-Bus, a little bit fragile but good hybrid synergy. Works really well if you build around her conditions. Yeah, A tier. Then we have Sieg. I'll just say it. He's boring. Physical support, stun immunity, does his job, but you can replace him. C tier. And finally, we've got Kyle, absolute meta king. Defense ignore, percent HP nukes, and buff removal. It deletes squishes and tanks alike. If you see him in the enemy team, just pray. He's been meta since launch and he's still king. S tier. So yeah, that's kind of the chaos right now. PvP is ruled by those high damage hybrids: Kyle, Dio, Yuri, Phi, Rosie, Lena, Rudy, Kikara, and Mercurial. A tier picks like Clawhan, A, Spike, and Rachel are still worth running, depending on what you counter in. Everything below that, B or C, they're just filler, situational picks, or just there because you haven't pulled the real stuff yet. If I were building a meta team today, I'd go something like Rudy plus Lena plus Kyle plus Tio plus Rosie or Phi. Covers everything. Defense, CC immunity, execution, and sustain. But like, your comp depends on your luck as well.